Here we go. One more week here. The regular season, the penultimate game just happened. Try to control your bittersweet emotions there, Duval. The big win over the Carolina Panthers, the only shutout of the year, if I remember correctly, and put that on a game where Josh Allen breaks the single season record in sacks. Crazy stuff. A good time by the way around. Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game, and with me once again, student of the game of the Jaguar Report. Bing! And with me, of course, Big Cat Countries, Travis Holmes. Welcome in, champion. Listen, I know you, like many of the Duval devout out there, were very happy to see this game turn around the slide, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you don't care how you get the win. You want to just say, all right, finally we've gotten that done. We've gotten that monkey off our back. Now we can figure out ways to win pretty. But I mean, again, there's not very many ways to win prettier than 26-0, because that 0 is the biggest point of it. But yeah, it was a great day.
Well, I feel like I've written several times in Jaguar Report, bing, and other places how this defense has really been the story all year. Like, everybody wants to say it's right. Trevor Lawrence's team. You get the national media contribution, Nick Wright and company, the prince that was promised, all this, that, and the other thing. But I still remain undaunted that this is the defense's team. Josh Allen breaking the record's a big deal. He did get an alternate Pro Bowl vote. I don't know why he's not a starter, probably because haters. But
well, before the game, this has been a little bit of a conversation within the Duval, in Duval County, because everyone's thinking that Josh should have been in the Pro Bowl, and I do agree that he should have been in the Pro Bowl. ... But I also do acknowledge, before Sunday's game, when the voting was at that point already done, he started at 6 in the league in sacks. He ended the game after getting all those sacks as second in the league. But before the game started, again, at that time, he's 6. He's right at that line where you can figure out whether or not he maybe should have been in there, maybe he shouldn't have been. That's the whole conversation. So I do get it. I understand why it may have happened that way, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I understand. Once again, it's people looking too much at numbers and not watching enough of the games and understanding what's going on and how central he's been to this Jaguars team. Listen, we had the conversation midseason that I can make an argument that he should be in the running as an MVP candidate. Now, granted, you're not going to get anybody to do that because the media at large does not watch defense, pay enough attention to defense, or respect defense. If J.J. Watt isn't going to get an MVP in a year, I think it was 2012, where he also scored touchdowns while kicking the crap out of any offense in front of him, I don't think Josh Allen was going to do it because he didn't get to play on the other side of the ball like Watt did, right? And no disrespect to the Duval devout, while bringing up a Texan, I know every week you see the picture behind me of him there. That's probably a little confusing. But I do have my teal hat on, at least to acquiesce, right? But the punchline is this. The other thing I want to bring up, in the category of haters going to hate, things could go right upcoming here that Trayvon Walker gets double-digit sacks this season. But I was a bust. What are we doing here? Like,
can we have a real conversation? And maybe we can have it now, or maybe we can have it later. We have all season to have that conversation. But there is a conversation that needs to be had surrounding Trayvon Walker, because he's done it so well this season. However, he's also doing well because Josh Allen is doing insanely well. And
Ura made a career of that, and we don't call him trash.
Well, the reason I say this is because, all right, to be clear, Mike Caldwell did use both Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker inside on a few occasions this game, and it actually worked out very well for both of them because they both got a sack while lined up inside, either one doing a stunt outside and the other one just beating the guard. Cool. I hope that's something that we see moving forward, because they're both super athletic. However, in my personal opinion, edge is probably still a need this offseason, because he's had 6 sacks in 6 games, right? We've seen this. This is blown up recently, and at the same time, Josh Allen has done. He's been up and down, but his pressure rate has been consistently there.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that Josh Allen, and I wrote about this on Jaguar Report. Bing! Josh Allen, I think, has 5 games with 2 or more sacks, and he has plenty with bupkis. Much like Walker, I'm not here to say that he's tearing it up when Josh Allen doesn't, but This is a feast or famine concept, and I think some of it has to do with who they are playing. For example, I don't expect them to get a sack against Lamar Demetrius Jackson because they're going to be containing, right? Any situation where the quarterback can sneak out and cause a problem, I'm not expecting him to get sacks in that game. Josh Allen, I don't believe they sacked him very well. Actually, he did get sacked, and then they called a BS penalty on it. We're not talking about that right now. That was back in October. But, I feel like there's an element of that isn't given enough play.
Fair. Well, so hear me out on this, though.
Let me punchline it with this.
I got you.
Derrick Henry is still struggling to run the football against this team, and Trayvon Walker, as we've discussed many times, is the reason for that.
Is he, though?
Part of it.
The defense is all the reason for it, but this has been something that
you to say, by the way, that Hutchinson isn't necessarily a better pick. The conversation.
Oh yeah, this is. I'm not even putting Hutchinson in this conversation. I'm putting everyone. I think everyone, draft people and Jaguar fans and everyone, we're all using what we had at the draft as Trayvon Walker's, like, this is who he is, and we basically pick that up and we put that into the NFL, and we all say he's this insanely dominant run stopper because this is what he was in college, and everyone says it, and then we look at all the advanced stats and none of it supports it, and we look at the film and none of it supports it. Now I want to be clear in saying this. We've said this all season, and I've even said it all season, and then someone mentioned it to me like in week 3 or 4 of this season, and I can't unsee it. I can't tell you one game where I've seen Trayvon Walker be dominant. I'm not saying good. I'm just saying I cannot register one game in which he's actually been dominant, and none of the advanced stats supports that he actually is. We just say it because that's what he was in college. But
I didn't use the word dominant either.
Yeah. And to my other point, his pass rush stats, whether you're talking his pressure rate, whether you're talking his actual PFF grades as far as his pass rush, he was a 58 last year. He's a 58 this year. That has not improved. His pass rush stats, his pressure stats are like they're a 2% increase.
The Pro Football Focus stat, man. Give me
I'm saying whether it's PFF, whether it's pressure rates, that again, there's a 2% increase in that. He's basically just been more efficient at actually turning those pressures into sacks. And that's why I say it's because of Josh Allen pushing the quarterback, or the internal pressure, pushing those sacks towards Walker, but he's not doing anything different. And I don't actually think he's improved. So the reason I'm saying that is all to say that's the same thing that happened to Josh Allen in his rookie season, because he had Yannick Ngakoue pushing those sacks towards him and then you see him drop off that sophomore year when he loses in Ngakoue. And I don't want us to get too high or too low. I just want us to keep it within context of what's happening surrounding him.
Well, Ngakoue, and I forget the stat, so I might be getting it wrong immediately. If I known you were going to bring up Ngakoue, I would have been better prepared. But I don't remember him recording many games with multiple sacks, whereas Walker has multiple games with multiple sacks. That's part of how he got to his number. Much like Josh Allen, like I said, he's been up and down based on the game and the scheme as they've been attacking.
I can't tell you if he's had multiple games, multiple sacks, but Ngakoue was like that dude. Like, he was always that 10+ sack guy, religiously. And that was a big reason why. So if he's the pass rush specialist, you're not getting doubled as far as you being a rookie Josh Allen, and you're able to eat in that way. So that's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying Walker's good or bad. I'm simply saying his improvement has been noticeable, but his improvement is also minimal. And I think we're just looking at only the sacks. And if you can't say sacks are not important when it's Josh Allen loading up on pressures last year, and then say sacks are important because Trayvon is getting them, like, it's the same story for both of them. So can we view them both in that same vein?
The efficiency to get home, you're putting on Allen too. That I can't buy. I mean, at some point, dude had to get at least a little better to close out more sacks. Like, you can have the opportunity to eat and get one-on-one opportunities all day. If you're not finishing, your Trayvon Walker is a rookie. And
sacks are fickle.
What's that?
Sacks are fickle, man.
You're not wrong, but I feel like, and this is the problem. This is why pass rushing is an art form. It's the same reason, in my opinion, there's no real reliable stats for offensive linemen. A guy could come out looking like roses, and then but it's all illegitimate because they had a better tackle, or they were running a different offensive scheme. They were running quick pass scheme versus than writing like let's say, here's a throwback, a Mike Martz offense where you have to block 5 seconds because you're looking at ball downfield.
Yeah.
Thing. There's a lot going on there, and I hear where you're coming from. And you're leaning into your pessimist vibe. I ain't mad at you for it, but I think that jokingly, but like I still feel like you and I are kind of falling out in the hey, Trayvon Walker was a bad overall pick, and I'm still in kind of like I didn't love it, but I don't think as bad as everyone thinks kind of camp. And that's kind of been the gap between us. I don't think it's quite as bad. But like, listen, if people want to shout out their TV about Aiden Hutchinson, okay, sure, fine. But there's also the Lions are also playing in the NFC. Name me another good quarterback other than, and I don't even call Brock Purdy a great quarterback. We've had that conversation.
Also fair. No, but I'm not viewing Anton Harrison, goodness gracious, Trayvon Walker versus Hutchinson. I'm not looking at that. I'm literally comparing. I'm comparing Walker to Walker. 2022 Walker to 2023 Walker.
Sales. Is he selling more? I get you.
That's all, man. So we are good. No, but again, this defense did an amazing job. I mean, they did an amazing job, and also ... Bryce Young looked terrible.
Point about the NFC. I can't also be like, yeah, the Panthers are juggernauts up in this humpy bumpy. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so it was fun.
Any flowers we hand this team today, please understand, like they were like budget flowers that were like late in like the 2 day after Valentine's Day special.
I like that.
Like we know that they look pretty and smell good, but it could be better.
I know, but she don't got to know where you got the flowers, so I understand. Let's get it.
I took the damn tag off the thing. She don't know how much they cost.
Let's go.
Anyways, listen, we talked about rushing the quarterback. Let's show don't tell about the third down molly-whopping.
Man, bro.
Attacking the quarterback.
All the mollies were whopped this Sunday.
There was many whoppings of mollies.
All of the mollies. Yeah, so and this team just controlled defense so well. They controlled third down so well. As far as like the Panthers were, I believe, 1 of 13 on third downs, and 4 of the 6 Jaguar sacks occurred on third downs. And the sacks that you're about to see all happened in the first half. This is just the first half sacks where, frankly, just dominated. Like
I knew enough to know. I started writing when I started writing the tribute to Josh Allen after he got the number. I was already assuming the shutout was in when I wrote. I'll be honest. That's how, from what I saw, was going on. But,
yeah.
Let me go ahead and pull up the video here so you can all hear and walk through it for those who are listening on the pod.
So he struggled with the blitz, holding the ball. The defensive line. Look, you got 3 guys who have an opportunity to share a sack here, and he's not seeing. He's not like Bryce Young's not seeing it, not getting it. Roy Robertson Harris dominates. You have Josh Allen had a hand on it, had a chance to get a half sack there. Turn it around, same thing. You have Trayvon Walker on the inside, and the guard just can't. They can't block him, and just dominating his way back to the quarterback. The defense does their job. Again, these are all third down plays, and this is where you make your money. Go get that money. Give that man a bag. Like let's stop that there. Give that man his money. Like that is incredible. Just great job, defense. Just great defense overall. And the same thing just to close it out. The offensive tackle does not get out quick enough.
That was not get out quick enough. He's taking more heavy steps to the inside than I could. Like he's I don't know. Anyway, keep going.
No, that was it, man. It's just like, how do you? So you got to give the defense credit, obviously, because they are just destroying at this point. Those boys are eating. They're just drooling, waiting to they'll stack up these numbers and get these offseason bonuses at that point. But also, ... Bryce Young did not play well. That offensive line did not play well, and that stinks because I don't want to just say that that's what the defense is going to look like forever moving forward. But you got to take the wins when you can get them, and the defense did their job. They capitalized when they play against a team that's struggling and make them look like they're struggling.
No, and then that's what you hope to have happen. Listen, I know there were people out there, yourself included, Travis, was like, I don't know about that Titans game, but everybody seemed to skip over the Panthers, and this was why. But that being said, we talk about the Walmart flowers on special and all that. Listen, I agree with you. Josh Allen is a guy who needs to get paid in a way that he can go directly to the florist and get 3 dozen for his special person, whoever it is, when it comes down to the romantic time. That's the kind of money he needs to be making. I know, you know what? He don't go to the florist. He'll have people for that once he gets that bag, and that's the bag he deserves. And here's the thing, Trav. If Jacksonville doesn't give it to him, I'm pretty sure someone will.
That man is not walking out of this door, and you know it. That man gonna have all the money in the world. He's gonna have so much money, he ain't gonna have to go to the florist. The florist gonna come to his house. That's how they get down.
You know, interior design. Like he'll get a house in the shape of a rose. That's I don't know about all that, but yeah, I'm with you. I think he deserves it. However, uniquely, see, I know this is such. By the way, Trevor missing this game made a lot of sense before it, and now Doug Peterson's completely justified in keeping him out. I know people may still think he doesn't know what a golf cart is, but that's a whole other conversation here. Protecting Trevor, whether it was a matter of whether he could go or not or whatever, keeping Trevor out because of the shoulder. I was with you last week. That would have been a bad plan, regardless of your vast AC joint knowledge, which I didn't have. But with that, there was a lot more concentration on the run. I was a little concerned. I'm sure I'm not the only one about how that would go, but they did a little something extra this time to set up for that to go. Let's show, don't tell with the H-back party here, Travis.
Yeah, man. And we were on the PSF pre-show preview on the PSF app with UCF Jaguar. And we had this exact conversation talking about, hey, man, what should we be doing with this Jacksonville Jaguars offense? What should we be showing? Well, maybe we should just do more, showing, actually trying to be dominant with the run game. Maybe we should do less one back. Maybe we should actually use these tight ends as fullbacks and try to establish the run game. Even if it's not dominant, we can keep it moving with 3-yard rushes, 4-yard rushes, and just try to do something because we've been struggling over the past month just rushing the ball. Right. A lot of that because of the inside pressure. And the Jaguars did that. They did that on Sunday. They had about 17 snaps with either Evan Ingram or Brendan Strange, mostly Brendan Strange at fullback. And you will see on the first play of the game, if you keep an eye on Strange at fullback, he takes a little hit, and it's like one of those welcome to the game or welcome to football moments, and he has to get his bearings, and then he does well for the rest of the game after that. And it was just a great moment for me. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe fullback either on the waiver wire or in free agency, maybe one of those things that they may be interested in, or maybe they're going to just keep an eye on see how Brandon Strange does if they keep doing this.
I mean, any team in the NFL using a fullback is a little bit strange.
Nah, I can't even give you that one just because I love a fullback. Give the man the ball.
Listen,
give the man the ball.
Guy, but it's a dying, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
The NFL, like I saw the AFC's contributor at fullback for the Pro Bowl, and I'm like, who? It was right out of Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyways, let's show, don't tell. Party.
So this is that first play I was referencing when you see Strange and he comes out and it's like, oh wait, I'm not ready for this. All right. And I laughed when I saw it the first time, and I'm like, oh man, all right, cool. So he had to have a second. He needed a moment to gather himself, and after that happened, the rookie was like, all right, cool. Now we're going to be all right. And again, none of these plays have to be so super explosive. We just need to have less lost yard plays. Keep getting 3 to 4 yards a snap and keep getting us into manageable downs and distances, and we'll be okay. And even then, we almost took a sack here, and instead we get a moderately explosive pass play, 10 yards. Cool. But again, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't beautiful, but it did the job. And it's always going to be, gritty, not pretty. And that's the Jaguars' way of doing things. And if as long as it works, it works. But keep the running game going. So maybe I'm hoping that we'll see a little bit more of this moving forward, where we can at least just stop getting into those negative downs and distances, and maybe just keep things manageable.
Well, and that's a lot of what I have, to say about that. First of all, what's worse about the play you were talking about with Strange getting stood up? He got knocked over from behind when NTN comes in, like, oh, great block. Now I got to get blocked. That was terrible. Yeah. Even one in there, not to just pick on Strange, but Ingram in that final thing there did a cut block that completely whiffed and missed. But was still effective.
Opened the hole.
The defender was taken out of the play. Listen, you ain't got to be traveling to breakfast for IHOP every time you make a block, okay? You don't get the international house of pancakes on every play. Just get the guy out of there. I'll never forget personally, there was one time, when I was playing semi-pro, let me show on the camera on the right there, that one, yeah. Where I felt I don't want to say I whiffed on a block, but I stepped forward. I didn't get the contact I wanted. It could have been a big play. It was like a 3rd and 1 in practice. And I didn't get the good contact I wanted. And this guy was good enough. He got around me from behind to make the tackle to stop the big play.
Okay.
But I was pissed, and the coach came up. What are you so mad about? You got him out of the hole. We got the first down. Take a chill. It doesn't have to be the juggernaut every play. Now it feels great, but it doesn't have to be every play. And we make the point with Strange eventually getting knocked over by NTN. You got that 4 yards that you're hoping for.
Right.
While Ingram, that Ingram play I talked about, that run wasn't as successful. It was damn sure not his man. That was the problem. So I think, you mentioned these other conversations you had in other shows and other places. I think the bottom line is if you have some other gadget that can also help the run game while giving Strange and Ingram places from which they can get out and do some things in some sort of a play action style capacity, that's a win for Press Taylor and Doug Peterson.
Right, and it helped them open the game. It helped them protect the ball. It helped them to stay balanced. It helped them to keep managing it. And because of it, even if they weren't scoring touchdowns, because they didn't score any touchdowns in the first half, they were able to continue getting points, continue giving Brandon McManus that confidence as far as his field goals are concerned. And this was the first game out of the last 4 games that they didn't have these opening drive issues. We talked about on last week's Duval Dive, where Cleveland 6 drives, 0 points. Baltimore 5 drives, 0 points. Tampa Bay 6 drives, 0 points. Multiple turnovers, multiple missed field goals. And then this one is the opening 6 drives. You get 16 points, 3 field goals made, a touchdown, no turnovers. You're just matriculating the ball downfield, playing ball control, offense, playing, solid defense. That's what you want. Just don't turn the ball over. Just keep moving this thing forward. Just don't put the ball in harm's way, and we'll be all right.
Well, listen, keep that Cleveland film in your back pocket, because if things go well against the Titans, that'll be the week after. But since we're here in the here and now, and Travis keeps telling me how afraid he is of the Titans of Week 18, talk to me a little bit about that fear that the Duval Devout is facing here as they head over to Nashville, the Ville, to battle the Titans.
I mean, I've been saying it all season, and now we're finally the week of, and I still have no idea whether or not the Tennessee Titans starting quarterback is actually going to play in the game. So now I'm just like, all right, am I scared?
I don't know. When you say that, I still don't even know what the hell do you mean. Like, do you actually mean like Ryan Tannehill, or do you mean Will Levis now is the
So I mean Will Levis, because the Tennessee Titans offensive line is terrible. But then again, yeah, they are. They are not good. They are really struggling as of late. Like, even when
saying is Trayvon Walker getting double-digit sacks is real.
Yes, but equally real is which Jacksonville Jaguars offense is going to show up, because the Tennessee Titans defense is not incredible, but they're good enough to beat you because they're a punch you in the mouth defense. Now, to the Jacksonville Jaguars' benefit, Jeffrey Simmons being placed on IR is the best Christmas gift you're ever going to be able to ask for.
That'll last to 2024, Jaguar fans.
Yeah, so Jeffrey Simmons being not playing in this game with us still having the center that we have is, they placed him on IR the day before Christmas. Like, again, that is the best Christmas gift you're probably ever going to have. But in spite of that, they've still been playing solid football in all games outside of last week, the Tennessee Titans. So how do you view this game? That's a coin flip. Which Jacksonville Jaguars offense shows up? Are we going to be turning the ball over? Are we going to be struggling running the ball? Or are we going to be able to, again, play that ball control offense, protect the football? If we can just do that, just stopping there. If we can just do that, I think we win. But if the Tennessee Titans come out like they came out against the Miami Dolphins or the Seattle Seahawks with something to play for, even though in spite of the fact that they have nothing to play for, and the Jaguars don't punch them back in the mouth, there may be trouble. And you will know it by the end of like the first quarter. How do the Jaguars respond? How do the Titans come out?
Yeah, and it's going to come down to being a big punching kind of thing. Like at the end of the day, they still have a receiver or two that can beat you deep. Now,
Right.
granted, Burks hasn't had the greatest health luck, but
Yeah.
somewhere in there, D Hop is lingering, and it's a matter of keeping Tannehill from connecting with him. Whether it's him or Will Levis, that's the big threat, right? Derrick Henry is there, but not really. I don't, even when yeah, exactly. You're like,
He has those splash weeks though. I mean, even this season, it's like either he's going to run for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, or he's going to just have a game where he's like 40 yards and Spears is going to have 70 yards receiving or something like that. So they still have that two-headed monster.
Yeah, Tajay Spears is a threat because I feel like they can do the most with him to confuse the front seven.
Mm-hmm.
But at days in, it's about Tannehill, executing that correctly.
But Willis did practice yesterday. Limited, but he did practice yesterday. So I wanted at least comments on that, just on the off chance that Levis does end up playing. We don't know. We just don't know.
I think T Hill is the better start this week because I think I don't feel like he's more than just a big arm. Granted his arm isn't that big, but maybe I mean the force unable to see past the trees from my time covering him with the Dolphins wire. But I feel like he was somebody who was pretty good at managing a game unless you pressured him into throwing that bad ball and taking that chance, which the Jags are uniquely qualified to do, I would also argue.
So I know we're running low on time, but I wanted to make sure I just at least put this comment in there. The Jaguars, in spite of dominating this game against the Carolina Panthers, still struggled against the run. Many people didn't notice it because the Panthers just stopped running the ball, which was a flaw in their OC. But the starting running back, Chuba Hubbard, for the Panthers ended up having like a long of 7 yards, but still averaged over 4 yards a carry. And the other running back had like a 5 yard per carry average. So they obviously did their job. They just didn't establish the run game. And that is the only thing I will say from that Panthers game that worries me walking into the Tennessee Titans week, because if we struggle running the ball against this team, that is what would give them life. So that's the question of the hour.
Yeah, I feel like the Panthers abandoned it because the Jags were successfully taking possessions off the board for the Panthers by holding on to the ball so successfully. So, and I'm not saying they should have done it. I'm saying that is probably the thought process. And to the point, if the Jags can't control the ball or they do more of their red zone antics, yeah, this game's in threat, in contention, 100%. But Christian Kirk is practicing. I don't expect to see him, but he's practicing. Right. Trevor is allegedly better. I don't know if we'll see him, but he's practicing.
Well, Doug, this morning, just right before we started, literally 5 minutes before we started, said if Trevor is cleared, he's going to play. So it's a medical question. It's not a pain tolerance thing anymore at this point.
Is it ever a pain tolerance thing?
AC joints kind of can be, though, if you're not a quarterback and it's not your throwing arm. Then it's normally they just pat it up and give you medication, and it's a pain tolerance thing.
I've seen Josh with a wrap on his shoulder before. It's a thing.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. The scarier thing to me isn't Derrick Henry, though I know he's an outside threat to do something if he's not properly accounted for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about that big punch play down the field. Somebody, we've seen it, a Tyson Campbell or even a Darius Williams, just for some reason makes a wrong read and the play gets busted and they get a quick 6.
Happened Sunday. They didn't get 6, but they had 2 busted coverages that they just didn't have to make. That Panthers didn't make them pay for. Doesn't mean they didn't happen.
It's the difference between Adam Thielen and DeAndre Hopkins. I get it. Travis, what do you think's going to happen this weekend, brother?
Man, I got my prediction, and I don't even believe my prediction now. That's the fun part about this. My prediction is based on the fact that I don't believe Will Levis is going to play. Because if he plays, that changes everything. But nevertheless, I still have the Jaguars winning. I have this game being a Jaguars 33, Titans 13 victory for the home team.
I'm afraid of the Titans, but we win by 20. Woo!
Yeah. But that's what I think. The Titans without Will Levis is the early season Tennessee Titans that were just so bad. But then that line is really that bad, and Tannehill does not have the wheels to truly make that. He doesn't have the wheels like a Lamar Jackson or whoever else to make this happen with that bad offensive line. So, yeah, and because of that, I believe the Jaguars can win as long as they play like they played last week. And that's not saying they play as world beaters. Just don't turn the ball over. Play basic football 101, and I think you'll beat this team because this is not a good team. If Levis plays, the splash plays. It's a coin flip at that point. I don't even know, man.
You're 33-13. You're telling me there's 46 total points in this game. I am not that confident. In either team, to be frank or honest. I think the Jags make it to 30. I'm going to go 27. I think I'm going to go. It's going to be a little bit of a weird score. I'm going to go 27. 27-18. I think they get some garbage stuff at the end. There's going to be some field goal play. As I said, it's a weird score, but I think field goals will get us there in the long run. Maybe a missed PAT to try to get some action in there late. But 27-18 is where I live. I guess I'm implying the Jags stop a 2-point conversion. That's but nonetheless, there I am. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Travis, tell the world where you can be found.
Hey, you can find me on all the socials, Travis D. Holmes, Facebook, Threads, etc., Twitter. That's you can find me here every Friday. You're listening. Thank you. Continue listening while it's free. You can find me on all of the Duval Dive Jaguars podcast, 11:15 every Friday on wherever you get your podcasts, and also on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. You can also find me on Inside the Pigskin on every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Again, that's on Tuesdays. South Florida Tribune's Inside the Pigskin. You can find both of us on the PSF app, where we do live shows for all of the away games, and ever so often, maybe even a home game, just because.
If you pop on a Monday, like, by the way, this Sunday, the final regular season PSF experience.
Yes.
That'll be a fun time.
Yes, and you can find my writings on bigcatcountry.com covering the Jacksonville Jaguars. Dope.
Including some stuff from practice and availability here this week that I saw on Twitter. Bing! So
yes, Thursday.
With that as well, a quick shout to Jafon Bell in the comments. He says, I'm a Cowboys fan, but Duval, I mean, whatever it takes, the Duval will accept you this week. By the way, very big for the Cowboys to have the home field right. That'll be interesting. So long as they don't run into the 49ers.
Anyway, these Niners, man.
I am Kyle Nash. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Threads, also the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings with the Jaguar Report. Doing all the thing Duval that I can when I can. The PSF app, of course, we're going to do the watch along this weekend. That'll be a good time. I can guarantee that. Of course, my work with the 3-point conversion. If you want to check out any of the action I covered from the bowl season here just a few days past, head over to 3pointconversion.com. That's the number 3, not the word 3. Of course, my work with the black and gold banneret covering UCF basketball at this point, and also talking UCF sports in general, including KJ Jefferson committing at quarterback there on the Night Shift podcast as part of the black and gold banneret. And my work with A7BN Sports covering the Orlando Magic. I live in a world now where the Minnesota Timberwolves are number 1 in the West, and they'll be in Orlando Tuesday for me to cover that too. So look out for all of that as well. But till Sunday, my friends, on the PSF app. By the way, don't forget Student of the Game podcast on Wednesdays. Travis will come on there on occasion too. Who knows? Maybe that occasion will come up soon, depending on what happens in the upcoming playoffs here. But of course, we'll worry about then. Until next time, my friends, an honor, joy, and privilege. But until next time, class dismissed. Yeah. Oh.